Hi, I'm State Senator Tom Umberg of the 34th Senate District.
Hello, I'm Assemblywoman Lori Davies, representing the 73rd District.
Hello, I'm California State Senator Dave Min, and I represent the 37th Senate District here in the heart of Orange County. Now, here in the OC, we cheerfully support our county's older adults.
Aging definitely has changed for the good.
And that's why California Master Plan for Aging was carefully written with you in mind.
So please enjoy this energizing conference.
It's a great day for you to reconnect,
restart,
and re-engage at your local Orange County Senior Center.
Meals on Wheels Orange County is pleased to sponsor today's one-of-a-kind event. For over 50 years, we have been the largest nonprofit provider of nutrition and supportive services for at-risk older adults in our county. We are committed to erasing hunger and isolation through nutritious meals, safety checks, friendly visits or calls, and keeping families together through adult day services. Please visit us at www.mealsonwheelsoc.org. The isolation necessary through the pandemic has challenged us in so many ways, and we are grateful to be able to begin to re-engage. We encourage you to begin to safely reconnect with your friends through activities at your local senior center.
I'm State Senator Josh Newman, and proudly representing California's 29th Senate District. It's my pleasure and my privilege to welcome you to the Turning Silver into Gold conference presented by the Orange County Aging Services Collaborative. Today's conference highlights some of the resources and services available to you, and I thank the Aging Services Collaborative for all of their hard work in organizing it. I hope that you'll thoroughly enjoy the conference. My office stands by to assist you in any way that we can. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Rick Davis, coming to you from the heart of Orange County, the corporate offices of Attentive Home Care. And we are delighted to sponsor today's Turning Silver into Gold conference. Family owned and operated since 1999, Attentive Home Care has been providing the finest caregivers and companions to seniors in Orange County. Visit us at AttentiveHomeCare.com. Attentive Home Care is there 24/7 when you need assistance, but now we encourage you to get out and enjoy the world safely. If you're vaccinated, when you feel you may need care, call us at 1-800-731-0071 for a free home and in-home assessment. Socialization is essential to our vitality. It's been proven. Now is the time to get out and reconnect at your local senior centers. Have fun safely and call us if you need us.
My name is Gloria Barr. I have always been independent and thought myself quite capable. But now that I'm 92, I find that it's not as easy. I heard a lecture here at the clubhouse, and I signed up with Independence at Home. They have been terrific.
When I came to see Gloria, she was having some issues to open her pill bottles. I was just happy I was able to provide that to her and avoid any injuries.
I can open bottles now like Atlas. It's just a wonderful outreach to the community that I certainly would recommend to anyone.
Ahoy there, everyone. Good morning. Arr. Did you guys know that September 19th was the official Talk Like a Pirate Day? We missed it by 5 days, if you can believe that. In fact, since we are turning silver into gold and a bit of a pirate theme, got a bunch of pirate jokes for you. Number one is, what is a pirate's favorite doll? Barbie. All right. Well, we want to welcome everybody to attending Turning Silver into Gold. We are broadcasting live from the Honored Occasion Studios here in Brea, California. And we have presenters all over Orange County. Just a quick note, we are recording the presentation, so keep a lookout for it in the future. We are so excited that you are here with us this morning, and we can't thank you enough for attending. Now let's hear from Supervisor Lisa Bartlett as she supports re-engaging at our local senior centers. Supervisor Bartlett, good morning and thank you for being here.
Good morning. It's a real pleasure to be with all of you this morning. Thank you for the invitation, Steve. So I just want to welcome everyone. I'm Lisa Bartlett, Supervisor for the fabulous 5th District. And it's my pleasure to welcome you to this really exciting event as we start to kind of pull through the COVID pandemic. We've got a lot of great things ahead of us, and I'm really pleased that so many of you could join us this morning. I really want to thank the folks that put this together. It takes a major effort to put this type of collaborative effort together, and I want to thank the Orange County Aging Services Collaborative, the Orange County Strategic Plan on Aging, Be Well OC, Older Adult Work Group, OC Aging Disabilities Resource Center, and the OC Senior Center directors for all of their hard work in putting this event together. It takes a team, and we've got a great team, and we're going to have a great event today. To say that the last year and a half has been challenging for our older adult community is really an understatement. Being isolated from family and friends and neighbors and unable to participate in those everyday activities that we all take for granted certainly took its toll, especially on the older adult population. There's an old saying that you never miss the water till the well runs dry. And that analogy was so apropos last year relative to our relationships and daily interaction with society. We miss not only being able to see our friends and family and that social engagement that's so necessary for our well-being and our mental health. If there's one good thing that comes out of this pandemic, I believe it's a greater appreciation for the ability to visit with friends and family and to go and basically come and go as we please. So hopefully with the dark days of the pandemic behind us, a new day has dawned, and I'm happy to report that for Orange County, over 83% of our seniors 65 and older are fully vaccinated, and 91% have received their first dose. So as a county, we're doing very well, especially with regard to our senior population. So now it's time for us to start safely returning to society and getting back to the things we do on a day-to-day basis, the things we love to do. This event will provide you with the tools and resources necessary to safely start re-engaging in hobbies, areas of interest, activities that we all really enjoy. I want to recognize that many of you may still be hesitant to go out in public or remain homebound or confined to residential care facilities, but that doesn't mean that you have to be alone and isolated. Last week, the Board of Supervisors approved a recommendation that I brought forth along with one of my colleagues, Supervisor Chafee, to allocate $2.4 million for the implementation of the Bridging the Digital Divide for Older Adults program. That program was an action that was taken in response to seniors' concerns about social isolation, and the county will purchase 2,200 iPads that will be available to qualifying seniors along with a data plan and a training program. So it's a complete package, and you check it out like you would check out a book at the library. And that's really going to help combat the social isolation and also promote interaction and engagement. You'll be able to continue to get in touch with your family and friends, be able to go online and make telehealth appointments or appointments with your medical providers. So for more information on the program, please call our Office on Aging at 1-800-510-2020. That's 1-800-510-2020. And I just want to mention to everyone that I've always had an open door policy, and I'd love to hear from you. Getting back and re-engaging with all of our seniors right now is really important. And I always put the health and safety and needs of our senior population really front and center. So would love to hear from you about ideas, things that you would like to have in Orange County. We've got the great program with the iPads that'll be in progress shortly. So if there's anything else that we can do for you or ideas that you have, please bring them forth to your senior centers or contact us directly at my board office. So again, thank you so much for participating in today's event. Let's restart, re-engage, and reconnect. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Bartlett, for being here today. We really do appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, we're excited to get this conference all kicked off. And again, for those that are just joining us and coming into this conference, my name is Steve Shanahan. I am a former mayor and city council member for the great city of La Palma, and I have the honor of being the MC today for turning silver into gold. Today's first speaker has some pearls of wisdom to share in the art history category. Eva Marie Rodriguez is an art history professor at Emeritus Institute. She has been teaching art history at Saddleback College since 2014 and with the Emeritus Institute since 2017. She attended the University of California, Irvine, where she discovered art and history, and she's received her 3 degrees, staying connected, serving in different capacities with the Alumni Association. Currently, she volunteers at the Getty Center, Bowers Museum, and video production at her church. In her free time, she enjoys football, playing the flute, cello, and photography, and all things arts and museums. And just a quick reminder, if you have questions for Eva Marie, we want to invite you to put that into the Q&A session. Following the presentation, we will do a quick 10-minute Q&A with Eva Marie. So we'll turn things on over to our presentation. Thank you.
Hi, and I want to welcome you to my presentation today called Discovering Treasures in the Classroom. And I'm very honored, and I want to say thank you to the organizers for including me in this spring or Turning Silver into Gold conference. My name is Eva Marie Rodriguez-Morris, and I teach at the Emeritus Institute at Saddleback College, and I teach art history. And so today I'm going to share one gem that has been pre-COVID in your community centers, and we are, trust me, we are gearing to go back as soon as we are given the okay. But I want to share with you who we are, the Emeritus Institute of Saddleback College. And we're going to look at what we do, and we're going to look at what I do, and then finally what you can do during this time to stay connected, and then once we're able to explore the opportunities that are at your local community centers. So the Emeritus Institute is part of Saddleback College and is started around 1976. It actually has become one of the state of California's largest non-credit older adult education program in the state. And of course, we do most of our service for South Orange County. And so the average age of our students is about 73. However, any individual over the age of 18 is welcome to join the Emeritus Institute and take classes. For example, I even had a young gentleman, I think he was in his early 20s, who took my art history class because he wanted to see what it was like before he had to take the class for credit on Saddleback, or rather at Saddleback College's campus. So he joined the Emeritus Institute and took my art history courses. So what do we do? Well, we serve this area here, and you can see all these cities and community centers in these cities and a map on the right. And so we offer in over 30 different locations in South Orange County free, tuition-free courses. And you can see a list as well. One thing that has changed with us being, because of COVID and the pandemic and being online, is that now we actually service all of the state of California. That if you live in the state, you've been able to take our courses for free. Now, these courses are all designed upon 4 pillars, and this is also part of our mission statement. So our mission statement is, we look forward to welcoming you to classes that are academically rigorous, mentally stimulating, socially engaging, connecting, and then health improving. And that's what we strive to achieve in all the courses that are part of the Emeritus Institute. And we'll take a look at what some of those look like in just a moment. So the numbers, currently we have over 3,800 students, and we have about over 100 classes that we offer right now online, and then hopefully soon in person as we're able to, because of course the health of our students is the utmost importance to us and the instructors. But just to show you that this is an active program, just this semester we have 7 brand new classes. And so again, always creating that academic, rigorous, mentally stimulating environment for lifelong learners. Best of all, of course, is that it's free, tuition free. So our courses follow the same Saddleback College timeline where we have 16-week courses during the semester, fall and spring, and then we have 8 weeks during the summer, much like the college has as well. As a student, you're welcome to take as many classes as you like and can handle. We have most students taking about 2 to 3 classes per semester. But again, it's all free, so you're welcome to explore all the different subjects that you like. Now, to give you an idea of what these subjects are, I created what's called a word map, where I put in every class that we have at the Emeritus Institute. And you can see how some of these words kind of jump out a little bit more than others. So let me just start by saying E-art or EART or E-A-R-T is not a misspelling, but that should be one indicator, especially if you are an artist or an aspiring artist, that the number of art classes that are in the that are in the Emeritus Institute. So you can see painting, ceramics, we have yoga, we have knitting, watercolor, digital photography, flexibility courses, meaning for health, yoga, drawing, metal, just all philosophy is another subject, film, history, all the different types of classes that we have for you. This gives you a wonderful idea of the diversity of subject matters. Again, all free. And of course, once we're out of this, I guess we're still in the pandemic, but once we're out of this, these are the classes that will be at your local community center, especially if you live in South Orange County. One way, and to make this an easy transition for our students during this time of that having to be online, is that how we communicate, and that's through a monthly newsletter. Now you're saying, well, what's so special about this letter? Well, we do understand that technology can be challenging for some of our lifelong learners. So what we've done, the Emeritus Institute has done, is to create these wonderful newsletters that have all these links that take you step by step to get engaged and get connected online. And on top of that, because we don't want to have any student not be able to connect with others and with the course itself. For example, if you need a laptop, you're able to check out a Chromebook as a student of Saddleback College. So therefore, you don't have to look at classes on your phones or a tablet, but you can check one of those out as well. So now we're going to shift a little bit to now what I do and what I've done to create connections and the structure of my class that I've held at community centers when I was teaching in person. So what do? Connect with my students through art history classes. So in my classes, I like to do 3 things that are utmost importance. The first one is to create learning experiences. And that's why I kind of I don't call myself as a teacher more than I'm sharing. I love to share. I create an environment to empower the learner, and that is to give the student confidence, and we'll see some examples in looking at art, for example. And a great indicator of this was in my last fall in-person class, I had 90% of my students give a live presentation. And that's one of my favorite days of the semester, where I'm learning, for example, that one of my students actually went to a college in a former Rockefeller mansion in New York. I also learned that Frank Lloyd Wright designed a cat house, believe it or not. And then one student actually shared about modern architecture and its movement in Panama. And we don't typically associate modern architecture with Panama. So again, all about empowering the learner. And then lastly, I like to create the ability to share knowledge, both back and forth. And I guess the presentations are a wonderful way also of that. Now, about a year and a half ago or so, we all, well, classroom, especially education, were thrown on Zoom. For us at the Emeritus Institute, where at one time they never thought our classes could be digital or be online rather, they gave us 2 weeks. One of those weeks was actually spring break, and none of us took a break that year. But this gives you an idea of how I started off. So you can see my little lonely laptop. I actually had hooked it up to a TV so I could try to see as many of my students as possible. But that was in the beginning. I now have 3 screens with my laptop. I have my notes there and all my little fun, intricate little decorations for inspiration. And I call this now my art history command center. So again, trying to make that transition as smooth as possible and learning still at the same time. So now I'm going to show how Zoom plus art history actually equals this, and fun. And it really has been fun. And so I'm going to be giving you some different ways that I've connected, and I've used the internet online to connect with my students and stay connected. Most of these, I would do the same thing in person. However, by being online, we're able to get out a little bit more of a richer experience. So one way that we've been able to share, and that's the use of primary resources. This has been a benefit because not only am I able to share, I'm able to find these resources and students can download them, where in person, it would have been harder to do, not that we couldn't do it, but for example, I could not print out everything. Budget wouldn't allow that. And then sometimes when you go home, some students might not remember to download it and such. But here's just an example. On your left, you can see the original press release in October 9th of 1991 for the Getty Center. And it outlines all the wonderful things that they wanted to do. On the right, you see a little video I made of photographs of the construction of the Getty that I found at the Getty Research Institute. And so the question I asked my students were, please read the press release, be inspired by the photographs, just answer this question. Did they achieve what they set out to do? And it was a wonderful class resource. It was a wonderful class discussion as we talked about that and the role of the museum. Now I would like to share what I do using different websites. And so we're going to look at some of these websites: Google Arts and Culture, conservation projects, museum websites, the Metropolitan's timeline, and I'll show you that, and then Getty Publishing, or free books, which is always wonderful if you like to read like I do. Now, so let me show you what these look like. And what I would encourage you is don't try to write down the different names of the websites and trying to get the addresses. I'll try to make a handout available to those that would like, with all these resources and the links for them for you. What I'd like for you to do is just to kind of sit back and let your eye kind of take in all that I'm about to share for you. So the first thing I want to share, and that is with the Ghent altarpiece. So in class, this is kind of what we would look like. Ghent altarpiece done by the Van Eyck brothers in 1432. This is open, and if we wanted to look at a detail, we would have to do this. We'd get an up-close picture of Christ on a throne. We call it Christ in Majesty. And then also what's unique here is that we see Christ wearing this papal throne. That's not something we see very often. However, now being online, what we've been able to do, so give me one moment here, and I want to take you, let me see, give me 1 second. 1 second, I'm so sorry. I'd like to take you to this conservation project. Let me go ahead and enlarge my screen a little bit here for you all. There we go, fantastic. So this is a conservation project that was funded by the Getty Foundation with some scholars who wanted to clean up this altarpiece. And I could probably spend 2 hours going over this with you, but we won't because of time. I just want to show you how it allows us to see up close these beautiful gems. However, let's go even closer, and we can see the mastery, for example, that the Van Eyck brothers had. So by using this color white, it's meant to give us the idea of light reflecting through the gem to get back to the size and give us a depth so we can see how big the gem is. Of course, you can see the light on the pearls. I just love how we've been able to look at up close a little detail in a much more wonderful way of learning. So that's just one example. So now let's go back to the classroom, as I like to call it, when I have to go back to my PowerPoints and show you yet another example. So here we have studying Giotto. Giotto was an early Renaissance, often considered the father of Renaissance painting, and known for his frescoes in the Scrovegni Chapel or the Arena Chapel. Here is one of his altarpieces that he did. It's called Madonna Enthroned, done in 1310. So yes, you can see it. We can talk about it. It's a slide. It's actually really rather large. I believe between 13 and 15 feet. So now let's go to Florence. And I will say I have taken my classes to Florence during this time. So give me one moment and let's go to Florence. So here we are in the Uffizi Gallery through the website of Google Arts and Culture, and we'll get to that in just a second. But what I love about this is that, let's just take a quick hop outside. It actually puts you in the hall stairs in the Uffizi Gallery. So you're able to really walk around the gallery, and some of you may have even been there, so maybe this is bringing back some great memories. When we get into this gallery, there's Giotto's Madonna. We actually are in the midst of this altarpiece done by an artist called Duccio. And then this altarpiece done by what some think is Duccio's instructor, Cimabue. What this does in studying art history is that we are able to literally look at three of the giants and masters of early Renaissance that set a foundation of naturalism, the idea of depth, things we kind of take for granted nowadays in our 21st century eyes. However, you're able to actually look and compare and contrast these three wonderful altarpieces all at one time. Again, bringing art alive and making it fun. Then when you're done exploring, you can actually continue to explore other parts of the museum as well, especially for those that are familiar with the Uffizi and been there in person. Okay, my friends, let's go back to class, and we'll show you yet one more example. So another example is in Gothic architecture. And so here, of course, we're looking at a slide. Well, you might recognize this as Notre Dame, Paris, begun in 1163. We know that the nave, the center part, and the buttresses here were started about 1180. And then it went out, one of its first remodels was done in 1225. It did another one in the 18th century, and of course is undergoing the most recent due to the fire that happened a couple years ago. So this is how we look at it in class. Oh, yay. But again, right, we want to make it fun. So let's go now to Paris. So we've been to Florence. We're now going to go to Paris, and we use this beautiful, one of my favorites, and you're going to hear me say that a lot because I'm always telling people everything's my favorite. All right, so now you're looking at truly one of my favorite sites, and that's called mappinggothic.org. And so it gives us all of these here are all the Gothic cathedrals that were built during this time period. And they also have it all alphabetically in this corner. But one thing I want to share due to time, again, we could explore any of these for hours, but I love how in this plan, which we do study in class, you have to look at the plan. But as you can see down here, that gives you the look as if you were actually there. So for example, you're back in the chapel in the ambulatory, which is this space here. and you can see what it looks like here. Outside looking in the portal or the doorway, and you get to see what it looks like there. Down here looking up the altar, and that's what it looks like. So again, it's a wonderful way to make art history fun and also interactive as well. So let's go back to the class. And we have Notre Dame there, excellent. So the one thing we also do, and we do this in person as well, and that's to do eye workouts. And it's using the language of art. And what that basically is that's giving us, or gives us the formal elements, which gives us the words to articulate what we see. These are just some examples of some of the different works of art that we look at. Now, one thing though that I can't wait to use in person that has been taking place now online, that's using a resource called Mirador. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what that looks like. So give me one moment. There we go. So one thing you can do, of course, and that is to look at museum websites. So this is a Turner painting, Joseph Mallard William Turner. I must admit, I had to make sure I got all those names in the correct order. And this is his painting that he did. Von Trapp, and about to please his masters, ships a sea, getting a good wedding. Yes, that is the actual title. So what Getty has done is to digitize their collection using this new, or not new technology, but new to us, meaning the public, and to myself, technology called Mirador. And what that does is that it allows us to get really super close. Well, you're probably wondering, well, that's nice. We've seen that. What's so big about that? Well, Mirador is actually being used by about 12 to 15 museums in the world. One of them is the Frick collection in New York. And so if I tap on this, here we get this. And then we're able to look up close. So again, okay, yay, we know that. However, what Mirador allows us to do is to compare paintings from two different collections in the same screen. And we have that right here. So now for my students, we're able to look at two paintings, have them together, and more importantly, be able to look up close and talk about them. So let's look at how he puts people on these boats that are tilting. So again, it's a lovely resource that we can use for classes, for engagement, and above all things, make art history fun. So now let's go back to that class or to our presentation. And I'll share with you one more way that we have to connect. And that is with the Art History Club. It meets the fourth Thursday of every month. Anyone is invited to join because it has nothing to do necessarily about the courses I teach, but we talk about anything and everything in the world of art. We've looked at the role of the museum, and we've tackled the question of repatriation of art. We've looked at Rembrandt and looked at collectors of Rembrandts. We've even looked at stories and to answer the question of what is art and who decides. So again, just another resource. Now, before we end, I'd like to just share with a few more resources for you to take a look at. And again, these are resources that I do share when I was in person, and it just makes it easier, of course, because we are online. So the first one I want to share is about free books, and that's the Getty Publications. The Metropolitan also has their own, and you can see these books are paintings, architecture, conservation, photography, open access, antiquities, and some of these books are even books they have in the bookstore. I'll tell them I told you that. The next one I'd like to share with you, and that's a Hubroom Timeline of Art History, and this is produced by the Metropolitan Museum of New York. And this is probably one of the best resources for anything about art. And I also love that it's global centric, meaning it's not just about Europe art or just Asian art, but it's about any art that has ever occurred in the world. And one thing I like about it is their essays. So here we have an essay on Impressionism, art and modernity. What I like about it is as you're reading this essay, and you want an example of Monet's work or Degas' work, or what's the Salon? What kind of art does that look like? But it has it as you're reading it. And the ones with numbers, that's what the Metropolitan actually has in their collection. So they actually own this Alfred Sicily painting that you can view. But what's great is that when you're reading this essay, you're not having to copy it down, different works of art, and then having to go and look it up at another time. You just have to continue to just go down and scroll. That's why I love this one. But I think one of the best art, if you love art, this is where you need to go. And that is Google Arts and Culture. Ultimately, my best. In here, as you even can just go down, it shows you all that they have to offer. You have games. You're able to explore. Looking for this icon. So here you want to go to Chicago, go right ahead. You want to go to Paris? Absolutely. Let's go to Japan. It's lovely. And you saw an example of that when we went to Florence with the Uffizi. And then interactive art, different articles. Today they're asking us about our color and bringing up works of art with those colors. They have fun little games as well. Museums, over 2,000 museums you can visit. So I think you get the gist of it. Now, one thing I use in class, for example, in my modern art class, is I gave them a list of modern art movements. They were to find it, and just find a work of art that speaks to them and share it with the class. So, for example, here we have, as you scroll down, you can see all the different types of art. So if we were to click on Futurism, do a little bit more about it, and then stories. But more importantly, you get all these works of art. So they have found, for example, 188 items related to Futurism. And it gives you an idea of what the movement looks like. So this is Google Arts and Culture. We could spend hours here, hours, and traveling the world as well, which is lots of fun and for you to use to do. So let's go back to class as we finish up our time together today. So some other ways that I get connected in my classes, whether I meet in line or I meet at our local community center, is that we have breakout groups organized by museum names or periods of art. And then, of course, our discussions, because that's what it's all about. It's all about that engagement between the student and myself and sharing. I don't like to say I'm teaching. I love to say I'm sharing. So we do that through looking at art and also even talking about the latest art news as well. So what can you do now? Well, if you're in the state of California, let me show you what you can do. Of course, enroll in the Emeritus Institute. You're welcome to take it, especially being online, which we will be until we have the okay. Again, student health is our utmost priority. So you're welcome to enroll in any of those classes. Again, free tuition for lifelong learners. And then also check out local museums, because museums have done a great job of giving us free virtual programming. And then we just saw Google Arts and Culture. Outside of California, I would highly recommend that you check out museums. Right now, where we're all online, check out museums, look at their free virtual programming. For example, I've been able to participate in symposiums and conferences and talks from the Smithsonian, Metropolitan Museum, the MoMA, Museum of Modern Art in New York, the Frick, and even the Tate in London. But yes, that was very early in the morning, I will say. But in any case, could never have flown to all those places. And then also check out your local universities and colleges for the programs that they offer. And then once it's all safe, go to your local community center and take a look at what some of the classes that they have there for free for you to explore and learn. Not necessarily have to be part of a college, because our community centers do such a wonderful job of providing content for those that want to learn for lifelong learners. So in conclusion, for me, it was connecting, and it is all about connecting in art. So again, looking at the Emeritus Institute, and what we do is to provide free tuition, academically rigorous, socially engaging classes at our local community centers. What I do right now, I just gave you examples of my classroom on Zoom. However, I utilize all of this when we teach in person. And then what you can do, I would like for you to go explore, and then you begin to create your own new connections. So here is my contact information. That's my email. I'm teaching this fall. I'm teaching contemporary art and culture, where we are now looking at art from World War II to hopefully contemporary, which means just art that happened last month. And then I'm teaching an art history survey class, Gothic to neoclassical. And so if you're in the state of California, you're welcome to enroll up to our 12th week. So I think that's sometime in October. But in any case, you have my email. If you would like to get a hold of me or ask me any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer. So I just want to thank you for your time and listen to this presentation. And I hope you do. Go discover those treasures and make those discoveries at your local community centers for sure. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you, Eva Marie. Appreciate that, all that wealth of information. We appreciate it. Now we're going to go to a couple of quick questions. But before we do that, we wanted to share the information that Supervisor Bartlett had. So if you're looking for the information on the Office for Aging or her office, I wanted to give you these numbers. The Orange County Office of Aging is 1-800-510-2020. Again, the number is 800-510-2020. Supervisor Bartlett's office number is 714-834-3550. And again, the number is 714-834-3550. Eva Marie, thank you for your patience. We're going to go through some questions right now. If you have any questions that you would like to ask, add that into the Q&A box on the bottom part of your screen. You may have to roll your mouse down below that. We do have a couple of questions for us. So number one, Betty asks, the first question is there an Emeritus Institute in North County?
I don't believe so. I believe that other colleges may have a type of program, but the Emeritus Institute is unique and is under Saddleback College in South County. However, we do, anyone is welcome to join classes, especially online. If you want to drive to South County, we're offering a few in-person classes in some of the community centers that have been okayed and cleared in regards to student health. But of course, that's a situation we're monitoring. They are monitoring for us day by day to keep everyone safe. But you are absolutely, anybody in the state of California is welcome to access any of the classes online.
Good, thank you for that. Now, what do you believe are some of the biggest benefits of the Emeritus program for seniors?
Well, I'll just go back to the 4 pillars of the program that we put in all our classes. And that one of the biggest benefit is being socially engaging, not just with the instructor and our student, but also amongst each other. It really becomes a community as these students we have students that have been in the Emeritus program taking classes for over 10 years, for example. And so they've formed their own connections. Also to be academically rigorous, meaning that we present material at a college or graduate level. And then, of course, mentally stimulating when you get to learn and get to explore subjects that you might not have had an opportunity to take before, and all for free, which is great.
Free's always good, right? That's always a nice a ring to it. What are the credentials and background of the instructors? What experiences do they have?
Well, sure. Actually, all of them are, I would say, like masters of their subject matter, which is what you need to be, because we fall under Saddleback College's, rules and regulations, or ed code. We all have advanced degrees or have been able to prove a mastery of subject. So, for example, we may have a photography teacher who has been a professional for over 15 years and proven and has a wonderful portfolio to show their skills. So very extremely well qualified in the subject matters that they teach.
Good. We had this isn't a question, but it's a statement by Mary W. She said, she said, I've attended Eva Marie's art classes for over 3 years. It's been engaging, amazing, and fun. Eva Marie shares her knowledge and encourages our learning growth. She says, thank you. That's really nice.
Oh, thank you, Mary.
There you go.
Glad for coming. And I was just, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and one benefit also is that you can retake these classes and such. So I know for me, at least, that you can take my art history survey class, for example, and I will not repeat any content for at least 2 years. So you can go in a 2-year cycle before you'll hear the same thing twice.
Well, that's fantastic to know. That was actually going to be my next question was, can they retake a class if they enjoyed it once already? So that answers that.
Yes.
We got time for just a couple more questions. We're waiting, kind of going through here and see what we have. In your presentation, obviously you talked about obviously the benefits of the virtual, the in-person, and obviously the connection that we can have. What is your best or biggest advice, for seniors that want to get out and really immerse themselves into an art piece?
Actually, it would just be to be still in front of that work of art and just spend some time. That's actually a skill I had to learn myself, especially working at the Getty Center, meaning that don't be so rushed to try to see everything in a painting. Just stop, spend at least 2 to 3 minutes and just looking, because you'll be surprised how much is unlocked right in front of your eyes the more time you spend. And I will say it's a skill that I eventually had to build up to, spending 30 minutes in front of a painting and not write anything down. And so at first it sounds, oh my goodness, I might fall asleep. But you would be surprised though. Our eye is a wonderful tool and it just keeps unlocking and encourage you to look even more.
Oh, good. What are some of the more popular classes at Emeritus?
Well, as you saw in the word map that we offer, and of course it's all based on enrollment and the need, is that our art classes, and I would also have to say our health classes, are the most popular. And health meaning everything from yoga to stretching to chair aerobics to aquatics classes as well. And then our art classes, and that's where history comes under, I would say everything from making ceramics to painting to photography to jewelry making. We have jewelry making classes as well. So just a wide diversity for sure.
Well, that's fantastic. Before, when we were kind of signing on, we were talking a little bit about, the Getty and the Bowers, and for all those that are in Orange County, many people don't realize and have never attended the Bowers Museum and how many fantastic exhibits they have, not just year round, but how many traveling exhibits they have.
Yes.
Just some beautiful things. What are some of you've talked about the places in outside of California, and we talked about some of the places inside. What are some of your personal favorites, places that you would recommend, you would suggest other seniors be able to go to?
Well, the first thing I would say were those that are free. I always enjoy something free. And one free, great little gem, and that's actually the Hubroom Museum over in part of Chapman College in Orange.
I'm sorry, say that again. Which one is it? Just so our listeners and watchers?
Sure. I'm sorry. I do tend to talk fast.
No, that's okay.
I get excited about art.
Me too.
The Hubroom Museum it's part of Chapman University, not Chapman College anymore, Chapman University in Orange. And that really is a nice little gem. It's free. The space isn't so large, so you're actually able to look at the collection and spend a couple hours there. Their focus is mainly on California art, which is wonderful to have that resource so local, at least to Orange County. Not many museums are just focused on just California art, which is so wonderful. Another treasure, and again, under the guise of free, of course, would be the Getty Center and also the Getty Villa. The vast collections. I love their exhibitions. I love their lectures and such. So to me, those will all be free. Also, and I think if you're an emeritus student or any college student, so you can tell family and friends, the Norton Simon, because it's free. If you bring in your student ID, you get to get in free. And that is a wonderful collection, and that's up in Pasadena. So those are just some of the free places that I like to go to, and I encourage my students because I'll admit sometimes going to museums can be expensive, for sure. But some of the other wonderful gems would be, well, let me step back. At the Getty Center, they also have the Getty Research Institute, which brings in their own exhibitions. So it's almost like a little mini museum within the bigger, large complex of the museum there as well. And then, of course, I do enjoy going to LACMA, LA County Museum of Art. And that, what I appreciate there is their vast collection that they have. They have a very large contemporary modern art collection in addition to their permanent collection. So you can see art from, I think, the 1400s all the way to the 21st century in just one afternoon. So we're so fortunate to live in Southern California, rather, where there are wonderful collections. And also I would say the collections at USC and UCLA have some great museums there as well.
So LACMA, and forgive me for, I call it the Big Rock. LACMA, is that the Big Rock that was traveled through Orange County a few years back?
Yes, that is the Big Rock.
I call it the Big Rock because I saw the Big Rock coming right past my house. It was an incredible sight. I have not seen it live, in the museum for that. But is it true that most of these museums, if they don't offer free, they do offer a discount for seniors?
Oh, absolutely. All the museums offer a senior discount. Absolutely, that charge. Absolutely, yes. Again, if you're part of the Emeritus and you can get a student ID, always take that because it never hurts to ask. Because if you don't get the student discount, you definitely can get the senior discount.
Well, there we go. And then, of course, most of the universities, whether it's Chapman, Cal State Fullerton, go Titans, UCLA, they have a small group, usually art exhibits throughout the year, do they not?
Yes, I mean, we're very fortunate to have a lot of, or to have many, or several rather, really great art galleries within these universities, UCI, Chapman. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with Cal State Fullerton, so that's my bad, but I know UCLA, USC, for example, they're all free for visitors to come as well, and lovely, wonderful collections that take you a little bit off the beaten path. And I think that's important because I found my specialty is medieval architecture, but the more I'm taken off the beaten path, the more I can appreciate the medieval art and such. And it's just such a wonderful connection that you end up creating amongst your own knowledge base, for example.
Well, Eva Marie, thank you very much for being here today, sharing your information. I look forward to getting to some of the museums you were talking about in your presentation. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, our second speaker today is the Parks and Recreation educator at Fullerton Community Center. Aimee Aul is going to be showcasing her Art at Home project. So now's the time to pull out of your swag bags your Art at Home kit. That way you can do the project with Aimee. Aimee Aul works on senior and community programs at the Fullerton Community Center. A career museum educator, Aimee was a longtime museum educator at the Fullerton Museum Center and also served as the educational outreach coordinator at the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles County. She holds a Bachelor of Music degree from Cal State Fullerton and is an active freelance musician and visual artist. She has served on a number of nonprofit boards, including YMCA of Orange County, Museum Educators of Southern California, and the Steamship Historical Society of America. We will have a Q&A session with Aimee following the presentation. So again, pull out your art project and enjoy.
Hi, my name is Aimee Aul. I work at the Fullerton Community Center, and I'm here to share one of our innovative new programs with you, Art at Home, a course in creativity. So a little bit of background is in order to explain this program and how it fits into our other offerings here, and hopefully how you might be able to replicate this sort of thing at your own center or even in your own creative life. Before I came to the community center, I worked as the longtime museum educator at the Fullerton Museum Center. And that was a city facility for about almost 50 years. And for 30 of those 50 years, I was the museum educator. And last summer, when funding for the museum center was eliminated, staff was either laid off or transferred, and I got lucky. I hit the jackpot, and I was transferred over here to the Fullerton Community Center, where I assist now with senior and community programs. So I'm able to bring a lot of the art and music and museum style educational programs to a new audience here at the community center, and it's been really, really fantastic. So one of those programs is this Art at Home, a course in creativity, and we started this during the shutdown when everybody was stuck at home, and there were a whole lot of seniors at home against their will, looking for creative outlets, and who had just heard, one time too many, I think you should take a Zoom class. They don't want to take a Zoom class. They want to work with real materials. They want to make real things, and we all do. So we thought that would be a really cool thing to do, to distribute these materials and also have it's more than just an art kit. It's actually a 3-part program that has the materials in a bag, and we have a little, a paper bag with some labeling on it, and a online tutorial or a YouTube tutorial that we record ahead of time, and then printed instructions are really important. And we try to bring a little bit of museum education into it, so you're learning something while you're having fun making a project. So when we launched the program, we thought it would be modestly popular. I remember I made the first project, which was the Matisse kit. I made 35 of them, and I thought, well, if it doesn't go really well, if it doesn't go over too well, I could always give out the extras in, Meals on Wheels or something like that. Had very low expectations for this program. Well, it turns out when we started registration for the program, it was like we were selling tickets to the Rolling Stones, the Beatles reunion, we brought back John from the dead. And the phone was like ringing off the hook. It was crazy. So we had like 200 people for that first program. So we realized we really had a need. There's a deep need for creativity, for the arts, especially in the sort of darkest time of the pandemic when people were feeling really, really isolated. And sort of an unforeseen, really cool blessing that came out of this whole thing was we noticed that people were reserving not just the one kit for themselves, but getting multiples. If you're a senior, age 60 and older, it's free of charge. Younger artists pay $9 per kit. Well, people were reserving like 5, 6, 7, 10 kits. Turns out they were doing them over Zoom with their kids and grandkids. So they got to be connected. So we have this saying at the community center, like we're still connecting and serving. So we were connecting and serving our patrons, but they in turn were connecting with their loved ones through this art project. So really just cool stuff happening all around. So our first series of Art at Home projects, we focused on the work of older adults, great artists who did some of their best work and some of their most famous work in their older adult years. And there's quite a few of them. We focused on Matisse, Pablo Picasso, Georgia O'Keeffe, Alma Thomas, who else am I missing? Romare Bearden, and a Fullerton-based famous hard edge artist from the 60s and 70s, Florence Arnold. So all of these artists did great work in their older adult years, and we found pictures of these artists to show, you know, everybody likes to see themselves, right? We want to see somebody who looks like me, who talks like me, who is the same gender, the same age as me, accomplishing great things. So we're sure to get images of these artists in their older adult years creating great art, kind of inspiration. So the first one is the one we're going to do today. And I'm going to show you how to make a Matisse-inspired cutout. So you can get your stuff out. And a little bit about Omri Matisse. Like throughout his career, Matisse was always refining, trying to find the ultimate way to unite form with color and line. And it wasn't until he was in his 70s that he finally hit the nail on the head. He started doing the most, I hate to call it primitive, but the most simple thing where you're just taking blocks of color and you're cutting it out. He was also somewhat limited in his abilities to paint and draw and do printmaking as he had in his younger years. But these limitations actually led to new breakthroughs in his style and his design. Plus, as you'll see in your directions, he had this whole bevy of these really attractive young studio assistants to run around and do his bidding and, you know, cut his paper for him and stuff like that. So he did a whole series of these beautiful large paper cutouts that are just exquisitely beautiful. So in your kit, you have a sheet that has some inspiration from some of Matisse's paper cutouts and a variety of different papers, both patterned and solids. Have a little placemat and a little teeny tiny canvas. We also have my favorite art material in the whole universe, Mod Podge. Mod Podge is a mixture, it's like half glue and half varnish. So the first thing you do is you decide on one of these 5x7 pieces of paper, decide what you want to be your background. So I'm gonna pick that one. All right. Next thing you do, you cover the canvas, get that out of the way. Cover the canvas with one layer of Mod Podge. I love the way this stuff smells. You either love it or you hate it. I think it smells like freshly grated carrots. Not everybody agrees with me there, but I think it's marvelous. Okay, so always with Mod Podge, we do one layer under, one layer over. So we're going to do our background. Here's the texture I decided on. I'm going to put that on there. And a layer over. Mod Podge will go on sort of milky and translucent. It will dry hard and clear. And it looks great when it dries. You might want to rub out some of the bubbles. Don't get this on your clothes or hair. I know this from painful experience. All right, so we get our background. Now we're going to start getting artistic. Some nice sharp scissors and looking at the inspiration for the simplified linear shapes, a combination of organic, meaning curvy lines, and geometric, meaning straight lines. Let's get some Matisse action going here. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. And there's no right or wrong way to do it at this point. You just start cutting. So you're using the scissors as a drawing tool. Don't draw it ahead of time. That will just kill your spontaneity and your creativity. Just jump in and start cutting. Omri Matisse would be so proud of all of us, being brave and bold and just jumping in, making your mark. Okay, well, I'm liking that. Very Matisse-esque. And look, oh, it's doubled. So I'm going to figure out a place to put that. See, and you can move things around, plan it out ahead of time. Then I've also got this negative shape I can play with. Let's see what we can do there, shall we? So at this point, you should just be experimenting. There's plenty of paper. And I like to tell people, paper's cheap, just use it. Don't be afraid. That's a little too complicated. Oh yeah, I like that. Okay. So see, without making any commitments, I'm not gluing anything down yet. I'm just sort of moving things around and deciding what I like and what I don't like. So I'm pretty sure I like this, although I might like it even better if I turn this over. Oh yes, novelty. Novelty is the spice of life. That makes it even better. Okay, but I've got other colors too, and I've got other interesting shapes to think about for my cutout. And look at this. I just dropped both of these by accident on this piece of paper, and I kind of like that. So now, having found this little bit of inspiration, let's see what we can do with that. You can always layer things. Oh yeah, that's it. That's the ticket. Okay. A little black goes a long way. I should hold this somewhere else. Yeah, a little black goes a long way. But if you use it nicely, it can just really be a beautiful accent. Okay, this is a little bit like a tendril. Okay, now I'm going to imitate some of these. Maybe they're leaves, maybe they're raindrops. I don't know what they were originally, but for my program, maybe they're even eyes. Maybe they're almonds. Maybe they're bird feathers. I don't know. They're just shapes. So I'm going to cut out a bunch of these and try to decide what I want to do with them. Again, without making any commitments, just play around with it. So I think I like this. So I have a composition, and we have, again, we talked about organic shape and geometric shapes. Okay, here's our geometric. We've got two squares, and we've got our organic shapes here with the cutouts. So now that I've decided on that, now I'm going to start actually finishing my artwork by gluing everything down. So always one layer under and one layer over. So here I go. Under. And over. We've already got it under. Now I'll go over A little bit of overlapping there, like that. Oh, little wrinkle. Rub out the wrinkle. Okay. And you can always change your mind. Oh, it almost looks like a flag. Always change your mind while you're applying the Mod Podge or moving your pieces around. And you can always add to it later. I'm gonna put my negative space down. Always under and over. You want this all to have a unified skin. And that's the beauty of Mod Podge. It kind of pulls in disparate elements and sort of melds them together. All right, now it's time for my black accents. I have enough on my fingertips that it lifts it up by magic. Okay. I still need a little under there. We gave you plenty in your little takeout container there, so don't be shy. Okay, I think I have a finished product. I'm gonna put that over there. Use plenty of it. Make sure you have Mod Podge under and Mod Podge over. Smooth it out. And I am done. Right now, what I have is, it's a little milky because of the Mod Podge. It's drying, you know, slowly. Depending on the humidity, it might take 30 minutes to an hour to dry to a pretty hard finish, but it will look beautiful when you're all done. And it's just a really fun project. All of this paper, or most of it, was just donated. You can use scrap paper, you can even use old magazines, or you can do what Matisse did and you know, mix up some paint and paint some paper, let it dry, and then cut it out. So you get your own sort of custom paint palette. And there you have it, a Matisse paper cutout. So what we did when we first launched this program, we made 200 of these. And for purchasing, we had to purchase the Mod Podge cheap brushes. If you use a brush with Mod Podge, no matter how well you clean it, you'll never be able to use it for anything else again. It just trashes brushes. So don't spend good money on good brushes. Mod Podge, I use the gloss variety. Just get a big container of it and pour it out. And then 5x7 canvas boards. I did a lot of experimenting with different surfaces for this, thinking, oh, it might be cheaper, more cost-effective to do illustration board or mat board, and it really didn't work. They buckled, it just didn't work. Use canvas or even wood if you have it. If you have, you know, a masonite or a wood panel, that could work too. So I would encourage you to look for examples of older adults doing great work. So many of the great artists and musicians, for that matter, of the past and present, they saved their best for the later years of their life, where their wisdom and creativity were kind of unbridled by expectations of career or family or parents. And I hope you can find that your own creativity gets unleashed by that sense of freedom exhibited by Matisse and some of the other artists we've featured in Art at Home, A Course in Creativity. So I want to open it up now to some questions and answers and maybe some feedback on your own creative ideas. So let's have at it.
Well, thank you very much. I think we need to, there we go. Hello, hello, Aimee. Thank you for being here. As a fellow Titan, well, you know, yay, go Titans, right? All right, so we've got a couple of quick questions that we want to go through with you. But before we do that, there are a couple of elements that to answer from our previous panelists. One of the questions was, when does somebody become a senior? And for the museums and otherwise, and we're understanding it's 55, but you also can be at any age to participate in the Emeritus program. That's number one. And for the senior centers that are around, some have different age elements of things. So we invite you to check with your individual senior center to see what that cutoff and that element is. So great. So a couple quick feedbacks. Thank you for the good scissors, Betty says. Mine were old and dull, which is fantastic. All right.
Makes a big difference, yeah.
It makes a big difference, right? So the first question we have is, what is the most popular at-home kit?
Gosh, there's been a number of them. I think one of our most popular was this one. I brought some examples. We did these fabric decoupage coasters, and what we discovered in the evaluations after the project is that some of the seniors who hadn't participated in past projects because they were a little too complicated did this one because it was a little more simple. We had parents and caregivers working on this with some Alzheimer's patients and getting them engaged, and just the texture and the sensory experience of making the coasters. So that was the most popular one. We also did a 4th of July patriotic door decor, which was really, really fun and popular too.
How fun is that? Can you participate in the program if you don't live in Orange County?
Yes, the program is free for seniors 60 plus in Orange County. And then patrons who live in other counties, it's the $9, like the fee for younger artists. But yeah, it's open.
$9 seems pretty reasonable for everything that it
yeah, and we make it so that everything you need is in the bag. Like you don't have to go, you know, scourging through your kitchen drawers to find, you know, a bottle of glue or tape or something like that. It's all inclusive.
That's impressive. That's awesome. Do any other cities participate like this in a similar program?
I think there's I'm not that I know of exactly like this. I think this is kind of unique, but I know a lot of people are experimenting with different take-home kits. I know the Muckenthaler Cultural Center here in Fullerton has been doing a senior art program through the Anaheim Public Library and other distribution that's been really popular.
All right. Well, my last question is going to be this: is in Fullerton, what other programs, like art programs, does Fullerton offer outside of this?
Oh my gosh. Well, as you know, we have Cal State Fullerton. They have the OLLI, the Lifelong Learning Institute, that has a lot of really fascinating classes, including hands-on art classes. The Muckenthaler Cultural Center, which I mentioned before, has hands-on art classes as well as gallery tours and lecture. And then my former workplace, the Fullerton Museum Center, has recently reopened as a private nonprofit, and they are jumpstarting their education program. So be watching for arts education happening there.
You know, and I did not know about the one in Fullerton. So, you know, that's in our backyard. So I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah, Fullerton Museum Center is the home of the Leo Fender Gallery. And so there's the whole electric guitar history. That's where I got to kind of do a lot of music stuff.
Well, good. Well, Aimee, thank you very much for today's presentation. We hope it was for all the attendees that are on. It was valuable and fun and exciting. And on the off chance that you did not receive the swag bag, you can check with your local senior center and see if they have any left over. And as a reminder, this presentation will be uploaded into a different space after this in the coming days, so that you can, if you didn't get a chance to participate it live, you can do it after. So that being said, we appreciate, we're going to take a quick 10-15 minute break right now. We're going to call it 15 minutes, but we'll end with a pirate joke.
Okay.
What do pirates like to cook their steak on? Barbecue. We'll be back in 15 minutes.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Garden Grove Mayor Steve Jones, and I'm excited to welcome you to Turning Silver into Gold, a virtual event hosted by Orange County Aging Services Collaborative in partnership with Garden Grove's H. Lewis Lake Senior Center. This occasion is very special for our seniors, as it provides an amazing opportunity to discover new tools and services specifically tailored to seniors. In Garden Grove, approximately 15% of our residents are 65 years and older. It's the reason why the city's senior center puts so much emphasis into helping seniors optimize social, technological, and health benefits to achieve a higher quality of life. Since 1976, the senior center has been a welcoming place for seniors to access free to low-cost health services, enjoy fun activities, and most importantly, build relationships. My sincerest appreciation to Orange County Aging Services and their collaborative for their continued partnership and commitment towards enhancing the quality of life for seniors. Thank you.
Assemblymember Sharon Quirk Silva, representing California's Assembly District 65. I want to thank you and the dynamic speakers that have been hosting this wonderful event. I care deeply about helping you and your families age well. That's why the California Master Plan for Aging was written with your needs in mind. As an elected official, I support your re-engaging, reconnecting, and restarting after getting through this difficult pandemic. I ask that you stay tuned for the rest of the conference, but please enjoy these messages from our key sponsors.
My name is Marco Rodriguez from the Orange County Aging and Disability Resource Connection, also known as the OCADRC. The Orange County ADRC is a partnership between the Orange County Office on Aging and the Dale McIntosh Center and other community partners that link older adults and people with disabilities to the resources they need to live independently. Our staff can connect you, a friend, or a family member with a variety of services and supports, such as housing, in-home care, public benefits, home modifications, assistive technology, and much more, so that you or your loved ones can remain safe and independent in your community. At the OCADRC, we've witnessed tremendous impacts that senior centers make in the lives of the people we serve, especially during the past year. We encourage everyone watching to get connected and find out all that your local senior center has to offer, and we are proud to sponsor this one-of-a-kind event.
By storm, or just caught red-handed. Maybe you caught some sun, or a run with a twist. It could be catching up with family, or catching a cold. Life is full of surprises. Your health is no different. Don't get caught off guard. Choose Memorial Care for access to leading care, virtual care, nationally renowned experts, and everything you need, all from one system. Make the one choice that takes care of everything. Choose Memorial Care.
Greetings, seniors. I'm Assembly Member Stephen Choi, and then I proudly represent the 68th Assembly District in the state legislature. On this speaker's dynamic, we care deeply about helping you age well. That's why the California Master Plan for Aging was written with your needs in mind. My office supports our elders re-engaging, reconnecting, and restarting after getting through the pandemic. Stay tuned for the rest of the conference, but first, please enjoy these words from our key sponsors.
Hello, I'm Mark Odom. I'm a senior, a resident of Orange County for over 40 years, and I have the privilege and responsibility of being the Vice President of Alzheimer's Orange County, overseeing the programs and services provided by our local nonprofit organization. Alzheimer's Orange County is delighted to sponsor today's dynamic conference. Since 1982, our programs and services have served the needs of Orange County residents living with or concerned about memory loss, brain health, mild cognitive impairment, Alzheimer's, or other forms of dementia. The pandemic took a toll on us. We're thankful for those who cared for the sick, but we encourage our seniors who have been vaccinated to get out into the world again safely. We hope that you will re-engage, restart, and reconnect at your local senior center. To learn more about Alzheimer's Orange County, please visit our website, www.alzoc.org. Thank you.
Today's conference is sponsored by Clevercare Health Plan. Clevercare offers Medicare Advantage HMO plans with prescription drug coverage. In addition to benefit typically covered by Medicare, we offer lower out-of-pocket costs for most medical service, as well as supplemental coverage for things like dental, vision, hearing, and Eastern medicine. Additionally, we provide support and services in different languages.